Well, happy Memorial Day, everybody. How are you? Yay, we made it. It's here. It's here. It's here. What do you think of this new camera? Huh? You can see half the house with it. And look how glowing my skin looks with it. I was sold. I didn't even order this. My husband did. And he ordered too. He's so impatient. You know, you order stuff right now from wherever, and they know they have you under their thumb. So the first, this camera, actually, he thought he was getting it over like Amazon Prime, like in a day. That was 2 months ago. It finally came. But he had already ordered another one. So I got rid of my little $13 camera, and now I have this camera, which he won't tell me how much he paid for it, but I like it. Like I said, you know what I mean? Right? Where's the bell? There it is. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Loren Michaels Harris. I'm feeling good this morning. Had a beautiful day here in sunny Chicagoland. It was 87 degrees here yesterday. So I tried to catch a little bit of tan. I think I did well. Right? Anyway, it was just really nice. Supposed to be a bunch of rain today, though, but I don't care. I enjoyed yesterday. I had a great weekend. It is Memorial Day 2020, a Memorial Day unlike any we've ever lived. I know that for sure. That's the Bell of Purpose. I know you guys are wondering. If you've never been here, this is new to season 4. It's the Bell of Purpose. And what it means is when you hear me ring it, that's your chance to be a part of something greater than yourselves. It means that our guest has said something that we're like, okay, you know what? Can I get an amen? Please, hallelujah. And that means that's when I'm gonna ring the bell and send some love on the screen so our guest knows that we're picking up what they're laying down. Okay. I want to thank my sponsors for this week. And a matter of fact, I better get them up on the screen. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank Symposium.us. Symposium is a great app, especially in these difficult times, where if you need, oops, what is it? Where is my thing? Did I get rid of it? Uh-oh. Ooh, I'm going to talk about them a lot today, then, because I don't have the thing that goes on the bottom of the thing. I don't want them pulling out. Symposium.us, actually really good friends of mine, Troy Rock and his team over in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this is an app. When you go and download it, which I know you will because you're smart, download this app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, and it allows you to turn your content, your conversation into ding currency. How do I know? I happen to be their top earner right now. I've been there for 3 years, and there's like, I don't know, thousands of people over there. But everything I put on there, if you're good at it, people come. If you build it, they will come, and it's true. And on a serious note, you guys, right now, everybody's looking for ways to add income streams because these are uncertain times right now. So get over and check out Symposium.us, where you can turn your cell phone into a what? Payphone, for sure, for sure. Now, listen, I want to get right to it today because I've been trying to get this guy for about 6 months. It's been about 6 months. And Michael Bietasek, I'm butchering it, but I'm doing okay. It's a Polish name, he told me this morning. Michael Bietasek, he's the founder of Bangkok Vanguards. Now, Bangkok Vanguards, I looked up the name. I've heard Vanguard, but I wanted to make sure we all knew exactly what it stands for. Because when people just don't reach in a hat, in most cases, and pull out a name for their company. So Bangkok Vanguards. Vanguard is a group of people leading the way in new development or ideas. And so we're going to talk about this wonderful, wonderful organization. And so why don't we meet the founder right now? Here he comes. Ooh. Well, hello. Am I coming in clear? I say, am I coming in clear?
Clear.
Have you ever
clear
seen?
As it's like a German accent.
Oh, really? Well, you know what? Okay, here's your first trivia question, Michael. That's from one of my favorite movies of all time. Has 2 W's in it, and it's full of chocolate.
Okay, first 2 W's. I always think about World War, but has a lot of chocolate.
Has a lot of chocolate in the movie, and Gene Wilder. Willy Wonka. Ding, 5 points for our guy. I told you he was smart. That's right. That was Mike TV, the one who got split up into a million pieces and sent down, and he was this big when he landed on the other side. He was my favorite character because I wanted to get in that machine. So anyway, but you kind of are in also a machine that I wish I could experience, and it is the world of unbridled travel. And you do more. I saw in one of your pieces that I went out and took a look at where you were like, I said, should I play with him? Should I keep saying, so what's it like to be a travel? Wait, I wrote it down because you said, I am not. What's it feel like to be a tour guide?
What is it
You're
like to
not
be a
a
tour
tour
guide?
guide. You're not a tour guide. You're a lot of things, but you're not a tour guide. Tell us where you're from, where you originally started this journey, a little bit about your background, how you came to live in Thailand, and why Bangkok Vanguards.
Okay, wow. How much time do I have?
You have an hour.
An hour.
You
Okay, okay.
do. Pretty
So
close.
in a nutshell, so yeah, my name is Michael or Michael in German, Vidasek, and I'm originally from Germany. And my mom is Thai and my dad is German. Actually, I'm a quarter Polish, quarter German, quarter Thai, and quarter Chinese. And I'm just very lucky that I was born to two, cultures, the West and Asia. And so I had exposure to my Asian roots, not necessarily as a tourist, but as a family member. And that gave me opportunity to always compare my Asian roots with the German roots, and sometimes it could not be more contrasting if you think
The food
about
alone. The
the
food alone
food.
is so.
Yes,
It's so.
yes, the food. Yeah, so that's basically, yeah, I'm half Thai, half German, and I want to venture to explore my cultural roots. And I fell in love with Thailand, and not because of the beaches or the temples or the tourist attractions, but my Thai side, my family, we are coconut farmers, and I spend most of, every time when we visited Thailand during summer holidays, I spend most of the time on the coconut farm of my grandmother. So it's very rustic, very simple. There's no hardly any furniture in a traditional Thai way. You sleep on the floor, you eat on the floor. Everything happens on the floor, really. And back even in the 80s, still there was no, we took a shower with rainwater, and it was very attached to nature. And so it was very different from my life in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
So
very
how many years did you actually live in Germany, Michael?
until I was 23, and then I moved to Thailand. Then I
Just
decided,
last year.
yeah, wish, about 18 years ago.
You look really young. I was trying to figure that
Thank you.
out because when I looked at some of the videos, I was like, wait a minute. You know, whatever you're doing, you need to bottle it and sell it to the rest of us. So, how old are you?
I just turned 41.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Wow. So, did you go to college?
Yeah, so in Germany, I studied hotel management, and then when I moved to Thailand later on, after a year of exploring and thinking about what to do with my life here, I always felt that Thailand and developing countries in general, as compared to Germany, it provides you a lot of freedom to experiment with your life and to design the life that you want to aspire to. So there's not, in Germany, everybody is so focused on safety and security and certainty. And so you don't find much support systems if you want to be entrepreneurial or if you want to be adventurous, because everyone wants to play it safe, and everything is quite predictable. There's a lot of advantages to that, but it was not quite what I wanted. So after I graduated from hotel management, I decided to find my luck in Thailand, and yeah, and then here I pursued studies as well. Did my bachelor degrees actually in linguistics and English.
Okay.
German studying
Okay.
English in Thailand. It's quite weird, but because I used to teach German and English, that was something I was really enjoying to do. And so I thought I need to develop my credentials. So starting with a linguistic degree, and then maybe further on hop into masters or something else to pursue a career in education. That was my
Right.
original plan.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you something because I want to get deep into what you're doing over there right now because you're in Bangkok right now. It's 12 hours different from us here in the Chicagoland area, so it's a little after 8 p.m. there. And what
Right.
day is it?
Today should be Monday. What is it? Oh, God, when you stay
Uh-oh.
home most days, it's like it's Monday.
Senior
Yeah, it's
moments.
Monday.
What is it's Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not the only
The
one, you
quarantine
guys. I
days.
told you. Right. So, I want to, last year, I think, because I know our mutual friend Michael Toy was there, and then my friend Vicky Omafalaji was there, there being Thailand, and then my other friend Danny Torres was there in Thailand. I was like, what is the magnetic pull that everybody, and some of them even ran into each other at some resort. They were like, look who I found. And I'm like, oh my God, it was like Mecca. Everybody, more and more people are being drawn to Thailand. What's that all about?
Well, I guess that Thailand has, like passed beyond its reputation that held back from the 60s, 70s when a lot of GIs did their rest and recreation from the Vietnam War there. And, you had the sex tourist industry, thriving. So these days, I mean, it's still part of the reality, but it's a small, tiny puzzle piece. So Thailand has become a destination for so many interesting people, nature lovers, golf players, shopaholics, younger people want to go on a nice, like a gap year and maybe party, cultural enthusiasts, explorers. It's a haven for a lot of people. And because it is very diverse, the country is it's very well developed in terms of infrastructure. So it's easy to travel around. It's affordable. It's not too expensive in comparison to maybe Singapore or Hong Kong.
Okay.
And the people are so friendly. And then you have the reputation, of course. You have Thai food, which has now, risen to fame all around the world.
Yes, I love Thai food.
Yeah, and then some movies, of course, but back then the beach, and then now Hangover, this kind of adventurism and exoticism and all this, evoked a lot of interest probably in people as well. And, once you come here and you encounter the energy and the vibes and the people and how carefree and how free and how, light everything is, then pair this with the environment, with the nature, the landscapes, the beaches, the mountains, the jungles, with the big urban life here in Bangkok. Lots of people find a paradise here. So
a pretty safe place for people to visit.
That's another aspect as well. Yes, it's a very safe country, also a very safe city. I mean, given the size of Bangkok, we do, for example, night tours, and I explore in areas that usually people don't set a foot into, and I've never encountered situations where I felt endangered or where I was thinking like, oh my God.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, so one of the things I wanted to make sure we touched on, but before we go into, because when we get inside of Bangkok Bank Cards, everyone's just going to be, because I love it. It's not what you would expect. You take people, you expose people to cultural side worlds. It's the best thing I can think of to explain it, which is what we love. My husband and I, when we go places, especially that we've never been before, we don't go with the tours, when like the resort says, oh, we'll take you to this. No, we usually try to get ourselves a cab driver or somebody that we pay for the whole weekend or something, and they just take us to all these little crazy little places that where the people really are. The real people. And I love that about it. So we're going to get into that. But I want to ask you, do you have family still over in Germany right now?
Yes. My mom and my brother, I'm the only one actually who was like escaped from Germany to Thailand. So they're all back there.
Do you have any family in Thailand?
Yes, from my mom's side.
From your mom's side.
So, yes, they're cousins and grandma. She's 93, still hanging out in the coconut farm.
Wow.
You will see on our...
I will?
No, I said it on our website, actually. I dedicated a big slide to her as well.
Well, we're going to head over to that. We're going to head over to that website in just a minute, because I want to show people a 3-minute video that you guys are going to love. It really touched me. And then a piece of another one. Let me ask you, though, because everybody wants to know the thing that's on the tip of all the tongues right now, because we're all living under the umbrella known as the pandemic. And so what's it like for you there? And what, as opposed to what have you heard from your family in Germany? How are things on both sides of those aisles?
Well, Surprisingly to me is that Thailand has done, even though we were the second country to be affected after, the first country outside of China to have the virus, in comparison to Europe, we are doing amazingly well in terms of the numbers of infections and how we're keeping them low. So for myself, actually in Germany, the first infection, mass infection in Germany was from the small village where I'm from. Actually, nobody knew about this small town until COVID-19 entered Germany, and then it became very famous, and people said, wow, I didn't know that you're actually from this place. But anyways, so I don't feel endangered here in terms of health. Of course, I'm very cautious, and I wear the mask and I have face shields and whatnot. But what worries me more is the economic implications of the pandemic. So health-wise, we have about 3,000 infections. And we have the past couple of days, no new infections. We have like one maybe or two.
Oh, great.
In a week. So it's quite low. In comparison to Germany, it's still quite high. But they manage it very well because Germany has a very, very good healthcare system. And so despite the number of infections, the collateral, the casualties is comparatively, globally, I think the lowest in Germany.
So have you seen, I'm sure you felt it, because, your business is based on tourists.
Right.
When did you feel the gut check, the punch in the gut from this pandemic? When did it really hit you? When did you feel it was at its worst? And has it started to turn yet?
So it started at the beginning of March, and then we decided in the first week of March or second week of March, we decided to cancel from our side all our tours because we didn't want to bring anyone into the communities or close to people. The whole atmosphere had changed. There was a bit of paranoia because the whole thing was, especially then, very new to us. So, and we said it's maybe safer. We refund everyone. They get their money back, and then we clear everything. We have it out of our head, and we reopen once the government and all the safety instructions allow for a certain specific type of tourism again. But for the business itself, our organization has been a disaster because the income has dropped from one day to another down to zero. So basically, we have no business at all, and lots of companies, my colleagues and other travel companies reacted by reducing the cost down to zero by shutting down, laying off all the people and shutting down the offices and going into hibernation. But I don't want to do that for my team. We've been looking for ways out and to reinvent ourselves. So the past 2 months have been a very big challenge for us because we need to create income as soon as possible, and if it's not doing the traditional business of running tours, we need to find other ways. And so that's what we've been
saying that. Yeah, I was just telling people that during the promo for the sponsor that it's time. This is the time where people really need to pull together and dive deep and think of some ways to increase, because I just personally, I don't believe that it's going to be over as soon as people think. There's it's going to take a while to get back up on our feet. So I wish you the best with that. So have you started seeing people come back yet, tourists?
No. All flights, inbound, the airlines, everything the country hasn't opened yet. So, and if you come, you need to have a medical certificate and you have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. And it's only maybe 3 or 4 countries that are deemed safe by the Thai government. So we don't know when they're going to reopen. But we have millions of job losses in this country, and unlike Germany, there is very little welfare. The economy is probably also not big enough to sustain the income for so many people. Okay. So it's very tricky here in a developing country without social welfare to get through. So if you look at my team members, their family, the business went down, they're all unemployed, and where do you turn to, right? So
right.
That the spirit of giving, the spirit of cooperation, among ordinary people or among a lot of layers in society is up and running. You see a lot of inspiring and innovative efforts among people to counter the negative implications of the virus. It's always what I've experienced here in my 17 years in Thailand, that disasters bring out the best in us. Unfortunately, it's always sad that it only happens during disasters. But yeah, we are trying to find our role in it, but we also have to see that we survive on our end as well. But yeah, so
And
I want to
go ahead.
I just want to stick solution oriented. I want to contribute. I don't listen to any of that, conspiracy stuff and all the complaints and finger pointing and all that. We don't have time for that. And
yes,
the reality is, yeah. So
no, you said a mouthful right there. So much so.
Maybe some people will hate me for that, right?
No, it's the truth. It is the truth, and I'm so glad. And listen, when we return, we're going to take a break here just for a second. But when we return, everybody, I'm going to show you a firsthand look inside of the world of Bangkok Vanguards and Mr. Michael here, so that you can feel it and see it for yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, it's not what you expect. Stay put. Invite somebody during the break to come and watch this with you, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bathrobe Moments. I'm Loren Michaels Harris. We're live this morning from Bangkok, Thailand, and we're with Mr. Michael Betasake. I think that's kind of somewhat how you say it. We're gonna, before I bring Michael in, he's in the green room, indulging in some imported croissants and things like that we had flown in just for our special guest. Not really, but wouldn't that be nice? I'm going to take you guys over to his site, which we're going to put it on the screen when we come back with Michael. But I want you guys to take a look at some of the wonderful things that Bangkok Vanguard is up to in the world, making this world that we live in a better place. And the thing is, what Michael said is, it's a shame that it takes a disaster or a pandemic to bring out the best in people, but that's not the case with Michael and his team. They seem to be doing it all the time for just those reasons. So let's take a look.
What the Tide is basically a fundraising campaign that was created in response to the flood in Thailand in 2011. The campaign was created based on a very simple idea, and that was to bring foreign community and the Thai community together in Bangkok into the streets to raise funds to help flood victims. So we were thinking of a proactive approach on how to raise money. The idea came from a friend of mine who said, hey, why don't we white windshield? And I said, okay, well, this is the idea, right? This is the perfect idea. And I rang up my team, and so we brought along Daniel and everyone with the cameras, and we were 9 people when we started off. We had 6 people raising funds with donation boxes, and we wore the T-shirts on that we wrote by ourselves with markers. And we had 3 people with cameras. And then we started basically, and the response was really, really, I mean, it took us really by surprise on how generous Thai people were and how they responded, and it was positive. And after 2 hours, when we counted the donation, it came to a total amount of over 27,000 baht that we have raised. And given that it was only 2 hours with a small group at one intersection, that was something that had great potential. What I wanted to do is, mobilize more people for it and to make it a permanent, a long-term fundraising effort. Whenever there is a natural disaster in Thailand, not only a flood, can take a tsunami, and the country is in need for help and needs to raise funds. We as a foreign community, take also, responsibility, and help out, because Thailand is also our home. Took the footage of the first wipe and pictures, video footage, and the strong message. So I combined actually, and I crafted the message, that actually everybody can help these times. So, just join us. And I spread the video out on YouTube and on Facebook, and I sent it to my friends, and I asked people to join, and the response then a week later was pretty good, and we had 50 people that turned up to do the second wipe. And then we raised over 130,000 baht, and they experienced the same thing, right? The energy between people who donated the money and people who did the fundraising, it was so incredible. I mean, it was so positive. People, they gave away things. People came and brought the volunteers water. Others just pulled out their iPad and, they say, hey, can I take a picture? Or we're going to tweet you. And one volunteer was giving a Buddha amulet by somebody. And I think that was such a positive spirit in front of these traffic lights on these afternoons in Bangkok that apart from the fundraising, this had a very profound positive psychological impact, and that encouraged us to invest more energy into the campaign. And from the second why we had a very committed call group that would help me to move this campaign forward and to extend it. And then we did another 5 wipes every weekend on a Sunday. The group grew steadily up until over 250 volunteers, and we occupied then about 13 or 15 intersections in downtown Bangkok, and we raised a total of over 2 million baht within that time. And apart from the money that we raised, the positive feedback we got, also a lot of new friendships were created among these people. A lot of even new groups and new initiatives were born out of quite some time, like Sanjay, groups of friends. And so I think that was something really great that is still until today, after the study, still has a lasting impact.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, good memories.
I just want to say, man, I got to ring the bell of purpose on that. It just, I wrote down while you were speaking while it was happening, that experience, because that was not just video. That was an experience, and it touched me in a deep, deep way, because I wrote this question down because I know you understand it when I say, I wanted to ask you, do you wish more people in the world would simply get it on a daily basis? Because I feel that. I mean, that's something that I think we have in common. When you're up and you're by yourself where you are right now, or I'm where I'm at right now, and the world is sleeping, and you're going through these types of ideas, and you see the big picture, and I just wish what you see there, that's what brought tears to my eyes, honestly, was it's such a beautiful thing when you see what people are capable of. But then when you see what it takes to bring that out, oftentimes, it's a whole nother thing. So tell me, let's talk about this social impact, and how is this what you saw when you and your co-founders sat down and said, let's do this thing? Were all these things in the mission plan, or in the business plan, or did a lot of it develop with need? How did it turn into what it is? It's a beautiful thing, Michael. Did he freeze on
Well,
me?
I think the biggest. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now.
I think the biggest foundation of the undertaking on which Bangkok Vanguard rests is basically empathy, and driven by curiosity. So coming from Germany into a city like Bangkok, I wanted to understand, because in the West, in developing first world nations, everything is regulated by the government, and people have no, let's say unemployed, you get welfare, whatever. But in Thailand, the country has gone through such development that, sparked such complexity of human life in an urban environment that it puzzled me. I wanted to understand what it is. And so I started to explore Bangkok in areas that were not on the radar. So whether it's along the railway tracks or beneath elevated expressways, or I like to build buildings for an exploration. And in these extreme environments, often you see human life. You see people migrating from outside and trying to survive. But I always encountered kindness, and it's something that resonated with me because it's been deeply ingrained in. Because as a child, I stayed in the countryside with my grandma, who had very little, but yet, they were very hardworking and very humble, have very little, but they were always so carefree and happy and kind and generous. And so whether it was in the countryside, in the farms, or whether it's in the slums, this kind of touch, human touch, gave something to Bangkok that a lot of people maybe don't see. They see the traffic jams, they see the pollutions, but they don't understand, the struggles, the aspirations, all the things that say so much about us humans. Yes, so much about us as humans. And I wanted to understand and I wanted to share my findings because I speak Thai, so I can exchange with the people. So I got very much interested in people, and I opened the city to my colleagues, my friends. There was no plan to set up a tourism business or anything. So we were thinking, like, how can I, as coming from two cultures, be a bridge between East and West, and utilize that to allocate resources to the area where it's needed. So that was the first motivation. There was no business model to it. It's just my curiosity and what I learned, and resonated with all the people that I took there. And they said, hey, Mike, you should become a tour guide. This way, like nobody is going to see the city that way. And it was very touching and meaningful to them. But before we could start any tours, the big flood happened in 2011, and we created this fundraising campaign, Wipe the Tide, based on the very simple idea to wipe the windshields. And so we raised a lot of money. We created this big volunteer community, and then we invested all the money into flood rehabilitation projects. And then we created other campaigns as well. So Bank of Bangladesh became known as a volunteer organization that creates large-scale events. So people have the perception we're an NGO and not actually, let's say, a tour company with a socioeconomic approach. So,
social enterprise.
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, so people would, like, sometimes people introduce us as a social enterprise. I'm very careful with how I use it. I totally advocate and support social entrepreneurship, but I'm very, very demanding to myself before I call myself a social enterprise. We are socially driven, but every social entrepreneur who is listening right now can probably attest that to develop the KPIs and to have sustainable, long-term, consistent, and measurable impact is not that easy. And you can make yourself vulnerable, claiming, because it has become sort of a buzzword, and people use it, and I don't want to use it. I want to let action speak, and when people can give it any name they want, I don't care. So yeah, I feel honored, of course, if you say, we are a social enterprise, but I'm careful to use it for my point.
I get it. So let's talk about, if we could, for just a moment here, what is the primary struggle for the people of Thailand right now, you think? What's the primary struggle? And how when you see these different things, because I have a feeling it's never just one thing. I have a feeling that even just because of what the name Vanguard means, is that they're adaptable. When a new struggle arises, they try to find a way to help. So what's the current primary struggle for the people of Thailand? How are you guys involved in that?
Okay, I think the primary struggle even before COVID-19, but now it manifests itself even, even stronger, is economic inequality in my point of view. There's other struggles as well, but I think economic inequality, Thailand is one of the top ranking countries where the gap is so wide. So that manifests itself in education and healthcare and political representation and many facets. It's the poorest usually that bear the brunt. So in a situation like COVID-19, when you have an enforced lockdown, people that stay in a 15 square meter room with 4 people, they cannot stay there for 24 hours and lock themselves down. They have maybe only $8 or $10 in their pockets, and they have children. They need to, they need to work. They need to do something, or else they will starve. And it's this drive that people have to be proactive in surviving and making the money and finding income. And so that's why Bangkok is very entrepreneurial. Thailand has one of the highest rates for, self-employed people, and we count the micro entrepreneurs to that. We have a huge informal economy in Thailand, which is the social, safety net for millions of people, and they keep the city running. And of course, it have been heavily impacted, and also, employ people in companies now, especially with tourism. All the big hotels, restaurants, entertainment venues, department stores, you name it, retail, whatever, markets, everything has been shut down. So millions of people have lost their jobs as well.
Right.
But Thailand is no stranger to this kind of problem, because we had a financial crisis in 1997. So, people are very resilient here, but also, very vulnerable at the same time. And how we get involved at the moment, we're trying to find solution. First, I have to look at the people closest to me, which is my team. So to keep for them the income going. I look rather at the long-term situation. So how we can position our organization, our skill sets, and our time in order to do what we already did, but in a way that can provide value for for outsiders, for people intending to travel here, but also for the communities. But it's not that it's something that you can do in a week or in a month.
That's exactly. Thank you for saying that, because that is exactly the segue that I was looking for my next question, and that is because a lot of people, people look at situations that just seem that are so overwhelmingly huge, and they internalize it by going, what could I do? What kind of difference could little old me do or make? And I wanted to talk about that, if we could, how do you stay so vested? Because first of all, what's the population of Thailand?
Around 69 million.
69 million.
Yeah.
And just a rough guesstimate, if you could, of how many of those people are below the poverty line?
I think below the poverty, they have different definitions of poverty line, but I would say it's maybe 6 million. Now it's the rate is increasing, is going up significantly, right? But before it, the extreme poverty is not as much. So there's poverty, but extreme poverty below the poverty line, couple percent. But now I don't know the current number, but it has significantly increased.
Do you see a lot of homeless people there, like we do here?
Not as much, but it's increasing now as well. So yes, it's more homeless. Yes.
And a little off topic, but I'm curious, and I don't want to get out of this interview without answering the question. I could Google it. But what's the primary religion there?
Buddhism.
Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism. So your organization, your team, and you. Let's talk about this. You connect with a lot of people around the world with what you do. Yeah. So how does that make you feel? And do you give people that are experiencing similar difficulties, do you guys say, well, we tried this, or why don't you try that? or do you just kind of stay in your own lane?
Difficulties in dealing with the pandemic, you mean?
Yeah, or any situation in a developing country. Because I'm just going to, because what I'm thinking about is kind of like with that other question that I asked you about when you feel like you're this big and the problem is the size of Mount Kilimanjaro. It's just
Right.
like huge. And you go in, like when I'm looking at, that's what touched me so about the piece that we watched, the clip, was that I wrote down 130,000 question mark because you said we raised 130,000 and I'm not familiar with the currency. What is that in American money roughly? The 130,000, what was it called?
Thai baht.
Okay, so how much is that
Thai
in
baht?
American?
Yes,
Yeah.
the currency.
So what would that be in our money, in American money?
What was 130,000. That was the second wipe we did it. The first one with 27,000, 130,000 would be like 4,500, almost $5,000
American
US dollars in
Okay.
2 hours.
So when you have that money, how do you know where to take it, where to spend it, what's pressing? And I bet it goes a lot quicker than it came in.
Right. But back then the situation was different. Back then we had to deal with a flood that inundated central Thailand and displaced 1 million people. Nonetheless, it caused a lot of economic havoc. It was the fourth most expensive natural disaster, I think, in history.
Wow.
And so a lot of people responded by sending supplies directly into flood communities to supply the people affected by the flood. But we wanted to retain the money for the rehabilitation of those affected communities because we knew that once the flood recedes, it will be out of the news and people may stop donating. And that's when actually a lot of money is needed to rebuild. And so we retain the money and we keep acting. There was a lot of pressure, obviously, because the money was coming in, but we kept it for the rebuilding process after that. But after, we seeded off the Wipe the Tide campaigns, we started to look at grassroots initiatives by people like you and I trying to rebuild the communities and to implement systems to mitigate future disasters. So we wanted to invest in a lot of diverse projects, which could be preventive, from fixing homes of foster families that were impoverished to engineers that invested their own money to build flood warning systems, to equipping volunteer teams, to helping farmers to rebuild through organic farming and microloans. So the money went to a lot of different groups, and it took us a year to distribute the money to follow the. And but it was a very journey, and actually it got me also in touch with you guys in the United States, because at that time Hillary Clinton, she was Secretary of State, and so I was invited to the US Tech Camps. It's an initiative by the US State Department to teach NGOs or civil society to empower them through digital literacy, and I was part there because our campaigns were driven through social media to exchange my experience of Wipe the Tide, using digital storytelling to mobilize young people, especially for a social cause. And that in turn got me to an invitation to Washington, D.C., to the Achievement Summit, where I met a lot of real change makers from around the globe, working in the trenches to counter all the bullshit happening in it.
Wow.
So it started basically with a simple idea. I had one traffic light to wipe the windshield, and it ended up at Capitol Hill. So it was quite a journey.
See, there you go. There you go. See, that's exactly how it works. Isn't that really just the most amazing part of it all, Michael? When you say, we were just trying to, and look what happened. That's the message I wish everyone could just feel it just one time through their spirit. They'd never want anything else. And that's a fact. I'm going to ring the bell. Let me ask, as we round this final lap of the interview, so you're a nonprofit. So when do you ever feel like the need is ever going? What's that? our internet started?
We're a non-profit. We are a for-profit company.
You are for profit. So when are people able to just donate to what you're doing if they want to? We have a delay.
Yes, people do. And we have other projects as well.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes people do privately. We don't have the legal foundation to accept donations so that you can get tax returns, something like that. We're not NGO, we are for profit. And because I don't want to be dependent on donations, we want to have a business model that generates the revenue to do the work that we are doing and to also pay fair salaries that are competitive with the private sector. It's a big problem in the social sector that the salaries, don't attract the talented people, only realistic ones. So we need to be competitive with the private sector and reinvest our profits into human capital that is purpose-driven and that have the talents and the energy to do something that is beneficial for our city.
Okay. We have two websites for people to choose from. One, the other, or they can visit both. Why don't you talk about what people... Yes. Talk about what people will find at this website, BangkokVanguards.com. Who's that site for?
So at BangkokVanguards.com, basically we are an experience provider. Right. So that site is for people that want to experience Thailand on a deeper level. So not just the recreational, whatever, elephant or the touristy things, but who want to understand reality as it is, but also the diversity, the beauty, and not only showing you the glossy, stereotypical side of golden Buddhas and temples, which is important as well, but we want to show you the human side of the city and also why we can't take all the things we love about this country, why we can't take it for granted. So there are complex issues, but we don't want to, come across like activists or something like this. We are not. We love the people, we love the heritage, the local heritage, not the national monuments, but the local heritage of the communities and the food and all this, because it's people that make cities. And so when we show you the neighborhoods and the dynamics, what is happening in a very diverse and a very creative way, in alleys that are no maps, and everything is so pre-designed in a way that uncovers you a side that you wouldn't otherwise find in any guidebooks. Basically, everything that I learned in my process in understanding the city, we share it through different tours. That's what we do there. But then now we also will, on Bangkok Vanguards, create a lot of content, the stories of the people. I'm starting my own, there will be video format. There will be content dedicated to the people and the causes. And once the borders are open and the flights are going, we invite people to come and experience it and connect with Thailand and the people. And I hope, we got very good feedback. Even people that were skeptical about Bangkok, they said, oh my God, everybody told me Bangkok is a terrible city. They, were very, very surprised what cities are about, how amazing cities are, how amazing the people are, and how beautiful life is. I mean,
absolutely.
Why are we traveling, right?
Absolutely. So, Michael, then you have this website, your personal website, which is an extension of the other one, in my opinion. When I went there, there's so many stories here. This is the place that had me stuck this morning. Michael, Vitasac.com. Just so many different things that it was like being dumped inside of a National Geographic experience to me this morning. I was clicking all over because there was the thing about disasters, there was social impact, natural disasters, sustainable development, all these different things that, I don't get to have that dialogue on an everyday basis. And I was curious as to, well, how come I don't? So I really recommend people to go to both sites. But if you really want to go like this and just swim through the waters of what they're doing, what Michael and his group is doing, start here and look at all this wonderful footage that he has. Michael, let me ask you, this is the most thought-provoking question of the interview, if you will.
Mhm.
In all of your experiences there in Thailand with what you're doing and what you're bringing to the people and what the people are bringing to you, and the entire gamut from the beginning to the end so far, what experience stands out to you the most as your proudest moment for Bangkok Vanguards and what you all are doing?
Wow. Oh my God. There's actually quite a lot, and sometimes it doesn't have to be like anything like super spectacular. I didn't receive
Right.
any awards or anything like that.
Right.
But there's more. I think it's the comradeship. It's the connection that I have with people that believe in what we do, and it can be the volunteers of Wipe the Tide that wipe the entire tropical afternoon sweaty in the exhaust fumes of Bangkok's traffic jams in front of the bank when we cashed in all the donations and they counted, and then we came out of the bank and announced the final sum, and they were waiting there, over 150 of them, and celebrating, how much impact through a simple idea they had, to the emails we received from our travelers whom we were able to open their eyes to a new Bangkok, to the donations, the empathy that people have through the things that they see on our tours, and I want to support it. I think it's this story that we all can connect to in doing something that serves others. I think
Right.
that serves people. And I think
I
it's
agree.
very. I think this connection and this happiness and this, it's better than, I don't know.
It's right. It leaves you speechless. There really aren't words. And that's what I was getting at. That's what we all seek in our lives. And Michael, I want to thank you as we get out of here. Thank you for giving us some of your day over there in Bangkok, Thailand, and sharing this experience. Yes, known as Bangkok Vanguards. More than just a business, more than just an enterprise. And the key message that I'd like to leave with all of you is more. Do more. Because when we strive to do more, we end up becoming just that, more. That's what evolving is all about. And Michael, you're a great example. Thank you so much. I'd love for you to check back in with us down the road on the other side of this virus so we can talk about how we can get people. I know that my family, Michael Toy has convinced us that we need to make a trip to Thailand. It's nothing like it in the world. It goes as one of the greatest experiences of his life, and I think I want a piece of that pie myself. So we'll be in touch with you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You're a definite blessing, my man, and we're very proud of you.
You too, and I hope to see you in Bangkok.
You will. Don't worry. I'll be staying right in that other room you were in earlier. Thank you. God bless you.
You too.
That's right. Stay safe, won't you? Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, that was Michael coming all the way, Vidasak, all the way from Bangkok, Thailand. It's nighttime there. And Michael, I'm going to get with you. I want to find out how you did. I know you can hear me in the green room as you take all those wonderful parting gifts that we have for you. All of those are for you. Take them all. And I want to find out how you did that closed captioning. That I've never seen that on my show. That was really good. I want to find out how you pulled that one off. But you guys, listen, this was a great example today for all of us of how a simple idea can impact the world in more than simple ways. And we all are capable of that. I want to show you something right here. Tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 on the East Coast, 5 on the West Coast. We are asking all of you to join us for this conversation. Generational healing in the midst of a pandemic. We're going to have actually 6 generations. I'll be the oldest. And we're going to take it all the way down to our youngest, a 13-year-old, Jordan Crawford, who you see on the screen. Carson Peterson from Top Chef Jr., Chef Carson, 15 years old. DJ Brower from Milwaukee. He's in his 20s. I believe he's 26. Dylan Ali in his 40s. We also have Cedric, who's going to be there. And he is in his 30s. And of course, I am in the ripe old 50s for a couple more years at least. So we're going to have the conversation, and we invite all of you to come and be a part of it so we can learn from the youngest. You're never too young to be the teacher, and you are never too old to be the student. That's generational healing tonight right here on Bathrobe Moments. We'll be live streaming just like we did today. So please join us. And I'll be back tomorrow I haven't even booked my guest for tomorrow yet. So that's a surprise even for me. I want to thank Michael man, that was a deep one. I could have talked all day with him. But the websites are there. Remember to get over and check them out. I'm going to pop it up one more time just so you can get over and check it out. There it is, BangkokVanguards.com. And also, there's a lot of great footage right here on Michael's private website. Check that one out as well. I want to say have a good day. In parting, you guys remember that if you can't see the blessing, how the heck do you think you're going to be the blessing? Go first thing every day when your eyes open and you get up, go and find the nearest mirror. Take a look at that person because you'll be looking at the greatest blessing of all. It's you. When you do that, you then can be the blessing for the rest of the world. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for your next episode of Bathrobe.